Well, comes the weekend, comes Michael Snyder. He's out there in La La Land, and he's here to tell us all about the movies for the week. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm okay, Alex. It's hot August nights, hot August days. It's, it's craziness out here. And, again, still the dog days movie-wise. Want to get to it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start with No Escape. This international thriller features Owen Wilson, of all people, as an American businessman who finds himself and his family trying to get out of a violent political uprising in Southeast Asia. And Lake Bell plays his wife, and Pierce Brosnan is also in this thing as a kind of a mysterious fellow. And it's definitely edge-of-your-seat stuff as far as the action, but the actual characters are kind of cartoony, despite the best efforts of the cast. Wilson is not an easy sell as a high-powered businessman unless he's supposed to be running, a chain of marijuana dispensaries. Lake Bell is kind of on point as his wife and the protective mother of his two young daughters, and everybody's in jeopardy. Somehow, I don't know how this happened. Pierce Brosnan is believable as an international man of mystery. How does that even happen? Again, the thrills are nearly nonstop, but ultimately it has all the resonance and staying power of your standard Carnival roller coaster ride. And I don't mean like the latest Six Flags Vomit Comet. No Escape, popcorn movie, something to watch on video on a Saturday. It wasn't terrible. I know that's sort of damning with faint praise. It reminded me a little bit of the Liam Neeson films, like the Taken films, only without the charisma of Liam Neeson. We Are Your Friends is a drama set in LA's club scene, pretty familiar to me, as an ambitious, hard-partying DJ tries to make it big by creating that one big dance track. But he gets involved in a love triangle when he falls for his mentor's girlfriend. One of the problems with this film is the star is Zac Efron. There are some nice textures, committed performances by a lot of the cast members, a great soundtrack if you like electronic dance music, and a very accurate approximation of the world of the would-be and superstar EDM DJ, but it's hampered by a string of melodramatic circumstances and a sort of inert quality to pretty boy lead actor Efron's performance as the aspiring DJ and producer. And maybe it's all been too easy and kind of insular for him, having been, the teen star of Disney's High School Musicals. He might have, look, if he aged into depth, that'd be cool. Like maybe when he hits his 40s or 50s, he'll be like Robert Forster. And right now he's like a young Tom Cruise minus the passion. But the guys who play his posse of dead-end pals in the San Fernando Valley, very good. High-energy lesser-knowns. Wes Bentley's also good as the smirky headlining veteran DJ and mentor, and Emily Ratajkowski as the girl who comes between these two laptop wizards is pretty good. And one quick note, John Bernthal is really knocking it out of the park lately, all in the wake of playing that hair-triggered cop in The Walking Dead for a few seasons. He's like a Jewish liberal attorney in Show Me a Hero on HBO, and a successful and greedy L.A. real estate con man here. And he's going to be the Punisher in Season 2 of Daredevil. John Bernthal really impressed me in this film. And, the movie kind of was but other than that, let's move on to films I liked. Totally liked. Z for Zachariah. It's a dystopian, post-apocalyptic science fiction film. And that kind of thing can be done well or it can be overdone. In this case, Z for Zachariah is of the well-done variety. It's based on a sci-fi novel of the same name by a guy named Robert O'Brien that was published posthumously in 1974. And simply put, it's about a young woman in a green and protected valley who seems to be the only survivor of a nuclear holocaust that's apparently poisoned the rest of the world around the valley and probably elsewhere. And then a desperate man in a radiation suit comes along. They kind of tentatively team up and seem to be building a life together until another man shows up. So there's this whole snake in Eden implication. But despite that, Z for Zachariah is far more insightful and clever and unpredictable on the idea of two men and a woman in a stressful, close-quarters situation than one might expect. And one of the reasons might be because it comes from the guy who directed Compliance, which was a 2012 film, the unflinching, disturbing, highly underrated docudrama about a wrongly accused fast food counter girl that I really was a champion of. Anyway, it's hard to go wrong with the actors, too. Margot Robbie is the woman. She was in Pan Am. They shot in your neighborhood, Alex, if I'm not mistaken. She was also in The Wolf of Wall Street, and she's wonderful as the young woman. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
They didn't shoot it in my neighborhood. They shot it at my apartment house.
Oh, wait, did they ever stop by for a cup of tea?
No.
Anyway, she's really great. She's really on the rise. She's going to be in Suicide Squad. Chiwetel Ejiofor and Chris Pine are the two men. Z for Zachariah is absolutely worth seeking out. One of my favorite films in a little while. And now let's wrap it up with Queen of Earth, which it sounds like a sci-fi film, but it's not. It's Elizabeth Moss starring in a sharp and darkly funny depiction of a psychological breakdown. Moss, late of Mad Men and the Top of the Lake miniseries, is unbelievably good in this. This is incredibly unsettling and a palpably brutal film, even with the dark wit, about a privileged, artsy New York woman's emotional problems, her unsteady relationship, and the breakdown that's threatened as her world starts coming apart. Catherine, the woman, goes to her best friend Virginia's lake house to get her head together, but the trip triggers an escalation of the craziness. So she's there with Virginia, and Virginia's boyfriend from out in the boondocks shows up. It's really well done, and Moss is stunning as this unbalanced woman. And Catherine Waterston, who was so good as the hippie femme fatale in Inherent Vice, is pretty damn good here as Virginia. This is the work of writer-director Alex Ross Perry, and he did a cool film called Listen Up, Philip, with Jason Schwartzman, all about a self-destructive writer turned half-ass academic. And apparently this guy knows his way around the educated and dysfunctional. It's a little film. It's a low-budget number. It's a fantastic personality profile and portrait. Queen of Earth. I want to move into TV land. What you got? What are you looking forward to?
Nothing.
Nothing? Come on.
Nothing. Really, I'm serious. Nothing.
Well, I don't know. I know you have got off Mr. Robot. I'm still on board, but they apparently postponed the season finale because of its similarity to that ugly incident where the news anchor and her cameraman were taken out.
Well, they also did the same thing with Documentary Now.
There was something similar?
But there was something that fit in that category, where they were worried about, is it going to be too reminiscent of what happened? So that's been canceled for a week, and they're running another episode in its place.
I hate when the real world intrudes into fiction. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So nothing. We got the new season coming up. There are a few things I'm looking forward to, but mostly, things coming back that I've been watching for a while.
What are you looking forward to?
Well, let me ask you a question before we get to that. Have you seen Residue yet, which is available on Netflix?
No.
It's Ewan Ryan and Natalia Tena, both who are recognizable from Game of Thrones, as a couple in sort of a near future when some kind of toxic disaster in the center of a major British city renders block after block uninhabitable. And it's pretty cool. 3 episodes expanded from the TV movie they originally did. They just added sequences and turned it into kind of a little mini series. But I would say Residue for sci-fi lovers and people who like that sort of thing is something to seek out.
Yeah.
In terms of new stuff coming up, I don't know. Check your TV guide. I don't know. There's lots of stuff out there I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting tired of TV too.
Okay.
No, it's just, there isn't a show out there that doesn't get worse as the weeks go on. The only one that got better was Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, the Dennis Leary show, which I highly recommend. It's very funny. And there was one episode they did with a psychiatrist trying to deal with their various problems, and it is really a well-written, just hilarious episode. But that's about it,
I am looking forward to the new Agent Carter series, which is set in Los Angeles in the 50s, in a nod to L.A. Confidential. I think it's going to have a lot of gritty crime, intrigue, and what have you. But, we'll see what comes up soon, and we'll make judgments when they come along.
Yeah. So anyway, that's about it for today, I guess, huh? You kind of did it all, and probably the shortest review segment we've done so far.
For better or worse, right?
Tell them where they can find you.
I'm at Culture Blaster on Twitter, That's one word, Culture Blaster, and the Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page on Facebook. Like it, link to it, and you can hear Alex and I ramble. Yeah. And, I guess we're on Roku now, too, right?
We're on Roku and on Gabnet. Yep. Okay, well, thank you, Michael. We'll see you next week.